multitasking.
Multitasking. Oh, same brain. Oh, we're live. I hope that wasn't the first thing that people heard. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Friday virtual write-in. I know it's a little later than we're usually used to, but that's because we have a very special guest who I can see in the chat everyone is excited for.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Yeah. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Sorry. I can't see this chat that you speak of. I'm not sure where I should go, but that's okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Marissa Meyer. I'm an author of many young adult novels. I wrote the Lunar Chronicles series, the Renegades Trilogy, Heartless, and then my newest novel is Instant Karma, which is my first contemporary romance. And I love NaNo. I've done it many, many times, and I'm super excited to be doing it again this year. So thanks for having me.
We are happy to have you here.
Yeah. China, should we do our introductions like we always forget to do?
Oh, yes. So I'm China, if this is your first time here, and I'm the editorial intern this fall. My pronouns are she, her, hers.
Yeah, and I'm Sandra. I'm the program's intern, pronouns she, her, hers. I just want to say that I'm one of the many people fangirling over our special guest. I'm sorry, I'm seeing in the chat people are like Prince Kai squad, and I'm like, yes,
Yay!
I remember the Prince Kai squad. But we're super excited to have Marissa here, and we have a really great virtual write-in planned with side characters, with the prompt, and also Q&A for our very special guest as well. So if you guys have any questions, start, popping them in the chat, maybe around like the midpoint mark. We'll let you know when the Q&A starts. Am I missing anything, China?
Well, we do want to just give a special thanks again to Marissa. And like she said, make sure if you have a question that you pop it in the chat, and we'll try to get to as many questions as we can.
Yeah, Marissa, you've had a really long history with NaNoWriMo, right?
I have. So my very first time doing NaNo was in 2006. So gosh, that was so long ago.
14 years.
14 years. That's nuts. I can't even believe that. But I used to write a ton of fan fiction. So the first couple of times I did it was writing fan fiction, and then in 2008 I wrote the first draft of CINDER, which would become my first novel. So yep, I've been doing it for a while.
That's actually, I think, so great for some of our listeners to hear, because I know for a fact that some people who return over and over again are writing fan fiction, like Iron Man fan fiction or whatever. Like, it started here for her, and this is where she is now.
That's right. No, it's a great, I mean, the whole thing, just taking a month to get those story ideas down and enjoy the journey and the process and the community and just have fun with it. I just think that's all really important. And so kind of every November, I'm not able to do it every year, but when I can do it, it's like this great reminder of going back to the beginning and to when writing was fun, and it wasn't always about deadlines, and it wasn't about publishing and the audience. It's just about enjoying it. And so even for me now, many novels into it, it's this great this great reminder that writing is what I love to do.
And we appreciate you writing those many novels. We like reading them.
Yeah. Just want to, I know you mentioned that you aren't able to see the chat, and I'm dropping it in the Zoom link for you again in case you want to.
Oh, cool.
But lots of people in the chat are just being like, this is crazy, it's my favorite author, and I just want to let you know that there's like an outpouring of love happening for you.
Aw, thanks, guys. I'm always worried when I'm doing these things. I worry if I click on anything, then the Zoom will go away and I'll ruin the technology somehow.
Well, in that case,
there it is. I see it. Oh, for some reason I'm logged in as my husband. Oh, that's funny.
Incognito mode. Now nobody knows it's you tapping away.
That's right. What's this one random guy doing here? No, there's other guys. I see now.
All right. Sandra, do you want to get started with the first kind of sprint?
Yes, ma'am. So we're gonna start. This week's virtual write-in is all about side characters. You know them, you love them. Sometimes you don't think about them perhaps as much as you should. And this virtual write-in is all about, giving some love to those characters that, may take a sideline position, but are, protagonists of their own stories. So for our first prompt, China came up with this great idea of writing a get ready with me scene for one of your favorite side characters. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically, what does your side character do in the morning? Like, what's a get ready with your character? Like, what do they wash their face? Do they hit the snooze button and keep sleeping? Do they have a 12-step skincare routine? Do they wash their face with shampoo? Like, tell us everything. And just in case you need the reminder, this is a very loose prompt. You don't have to stick to it. If you really want to just continue working your NaNoWriMo novel, by all means, please do that. But we're interested in hearing what you guys have to say about your side character.
Yeah, and if you're writing a sci-fi novel, does your, character, use an alien to, take a shower? Who knows? So I'm kind of just curious what you guys are writing about. So this is my weird way of finding out.
Does your alien use a smaller alien to wash its face?
Yes. Or a giant
So
elephant.
many options. So much potential.
So we're going to go ahead and get ready for this prompt. I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock. So if everyone's ready, I'm going to starting now. I must admit, I did not think this all the way through.
Now that we're starting. Oh no, what am I doing?
So we're at 2 minutes.
That startled me.
So folks, we're at 15 seconds. Get those last thoughts down.
Did she get you that time, Marissa?
We done?
And time.
Ooh.
So
I
what did
misspelled
everyone-
that last word. Hold on.
No,
we're
that's
good.
not allowed.
You may not go back and edit. Okay, where are you guys? Which window are you in? There you are. Hello.
Hello. So just letting you know, we everyone in the chat is probably inputting like their how many words they've written or what they have come up with, stuff like that. And then we like to go into the chat and kind of read through and pick out things that we like or are interested by or want to give a shout out to.
That's fun. Should I look at my words?
Yeah.
I did 246.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's such an amazing word count.
It's like almost a page.
Yeah.
Love it. 5 minutes. Who knew?
My God, you're killing the virtual writing game. I think I clocked out at around like 100.
We should do this every day.
Oh, I wouldn't object to being on a call with you.
We can just hang out every day for an hour.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Me
Oh,
and my
how
best
productive
friend.
we would all be.
I definitely meet my word count goals.
Mhm. But right now people are talking like there's like 150 to I see 358 words.
Mhm.
And you know, a lot of people saying that they're reading your book Scarlet.
Aw, thanks, guys.
Luna Colin says, I'm super stuck and I'm struggling to start my next chapter.
Oh no.
I totally understand that. I think there are parts in the story where what is it you call it, China? The muggy moggy middle. Yeah, and for me, like endings of chapters can sometimes feel like that. But you know, I think one of the great quotes by Charlie Jane Anders that I really like is sometimes I think she skips ahead to scenes that she's more interested in writing and then just goes back and slices it together later. So
Yep. I do that all the time. I'm constantly jumping around and like, what do I feel inspired by? What sounds really fun to do today?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Seems more important to write than to think for hours.
Yeah, no, that momentum, it's good to keep up that momentum. And I mean, when sometimes I'll come to a chapter that just seems really difficult for some reason, like maybe it's the characters have to have a really difficult conversation, or it's like a fight chapter where I have to really think about it. And a lot of times in my first drafts, I'll just put like a bullet point, like, you know, have them talk about this thing. And then I just pretend that I've written that chapter and move on and come back to it later. Because it's easier to write those chapters in the second draft. You've already written the draft. You feel like you've accomplished something and you have some of that momentum built up. So I do that all the time.
Yeah, I do that too. I like write a paragraph about what I want it to feel like when someone's reading this or something like that. And then I'm just like, I'm going to ignore this until maybe draft 3.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. I will also say to the person who said they were specifically having trouble starting the next chapter, one thing that, because I feel like the beginnings of chapters are really, really hard, especially if you're like moving from, in the last scene, your characters were here and now you're maybe in a new place or a new time. And it can be hard to just like transition to something brand new. And so when I'm having that problem, I will often start with description and just think, you know, let's just describe the space that we're in and just think about that and not really think about where the plot is heading or what the characters are talking about. And I find that that helps me kind of anchor myself back into the story and get some words down, which then, you know, can help move things forward.
Thank you for those pro tips. I hope that
what I'm here for.
There's actually a question for you in the chat asking you what you're working on right now.
Oh, something I'm not supposed to be. I'm glad my publicist left. Is she still watching this?
I think she is.
Yeah, so I'll give a two-part answer. If you're asking what my next book is going to be, then it will be out next November. And right now we're calling it Gilded, and it is a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin, which I'm very excited about. However, that is not the project that I am working on this month. I have a secret side project that's been kind of calling to me all year. And I'm not going to tell you what it's about. I, of course, hope that someday it will get published and you'll be able to read it. But for now, it's just something that I'm keeping very close and dear to my heart.
Gilded sounds so interesting. Is this like a Lunar Chronicles type retelling, or?
It will not be science fiction, so it's totally its own thing. It will be more fantasy, and it's taking a lot of inspiration from kind of like old Germanic mythology and folklore, and like the creatures of that time period, and elves and demons and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it's good. It's been super fun to write, even though I'm also really glad to be taking this month off, because sometimes you start to get burned out on a project, but then you take a few weeks away from it, and before you know it, your mind is filling with ideas for it again. And that started to happen. So I feel like this was the best thing I could have done.
Yeah, I think
that sounds really cool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was just going to say what China said. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Shauna House in the chat says, "Oh, elves are always good." And I agree.
Yeah. Lots of people asking what your secret project is. She can't tell you. It's a secret.
I can't tell you. I will. What can I say? I can say it's very different from anything else that I've written so far. It is a lane change for me.
It's a picture book. I've got it.
I did try. I wrote 3 picture books. That was not last year, but the year before. And nobody bought them. I was rejected by every publisher under the sun. So there you go, guys. Rejection is just a part of the life. It's part of the career. It happens, but oh well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you have people in the chat saying that they've read every single work by you, and I'm sure that if you publish children's books, they would still read those books.
Oh,
so.
thank you.
Definitely.
Maybe I'll write another picture book someday, but of course then you're like, well, maybe I'm just no good at writing picture books. But that's okay. They were really fun to write. I've kind of thought maybe I should just have someone illustrate them just for my own kids, just for the heck of it. But I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, if people want to start posting things in the chat, we have a couple of minutes that we can probably ask Marissa some questions before we move on to the next prompt. I do know that a couple of people ask you, like Big G99 said, what is your way of keeping yourself from getting distracted?
I have felt not very good at that this year. Yeah, so it depends. Like, are we talking like getting distracted by a different writing project, or just on the day-to-day? Like, how do you stop procrastinating and stop looking at Instagram and actually get work done? Like, there's 2 kind of different questions in there. But I guess, okay, so I'll answer both. I don't know. As far as like, how do you not get distracted by another writing project? As we've now already covered that I'm working on something I'm not supposed to be working on right now. I don't always. I do think that, it's good to follow where the inspiration leads. And I do think it's good to take breaks sometimes and just do what your creativity needs you to do. And if that's a lane change, or if that's setting one thing aside to work on something that you're really excited about, I think that's okay. The trouble comes in when you are switching so many times that you're never finishing anything. And of course, if your goal is to get published, or even just to finish something, then eventually you're gonna have to finish it. And so for that, like, if I'm just feeling like the love is lost on a project, I'll usually try to go back to like, what was the thing that first captured my heart about this story, and try to remember what was the spark of the idea that I got really excited about, or like, is there a scene that I'm working toward that I haven't gotten to yet that I just can't wait for that moment in the book? Or am I really excited because I love this world, or am I just like super into this romance, or what is it that I love about this book? And that can get lost when you're in the, what did we call it? The murky, modgy, muddled middle.
The moggy, muddy middle.
That, yes. The love can get lost a little bit. So I try to just kind of keep reminding myself, like, why do you care about this book? Why did you start writing this one to begin with? And just try to recapture that as much as possible and get through to the end. And then as far as not getting distracted, like on a day-to-day basis, I am a big fan of writing sprints. You know, here we are doing writing sprints, and I use the writing sprint tactic in my day-to-day work life all the time. I feel like I can't hardly even write anymore without a timer going. There's just something about knowing that it's only 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And it's like, that's all you got to do is sit and work on this for that short period of time. That to me is enough to turn off my brain and stop thinking about other things and just focus on the writing, because I know it's only 10 minutes and then you can go back to looking at Instagram or go back to whatever it is. And so that I think is a really great strategy and one that I use all the time.
Yeah, we actually have another question for you. S-Con asked, do you have any advice on getting published?
First, write the best book that you can. And that includes like having other people read it and getting critiques and feedback, and writing a really amazing query letter, like assuming that you will be going through a literary agent, which is the way most of us get traditionally published. You need to have just a query letter that sparkles and that draws them in and makes them want to know more. And a lot of writers, they honestly kind of ruin their chances just because they don't take enough time to really make a great query letter. And so their work will get passed on for no other reason than they're not selling it. So really think about writing a great query letter, have other people read it, ask them, would you want to read this book? Does this hook you? Does this interest you? And then, yeah, take it out. But I mean, number one is writing a great book, and writing something that you love and letting your passion shine through. I do believe that if it's something that you love, chances are there's going to be readers that love it too.
I agree with that. What about you, Sandra?
Oh, I think that is great advice. I've often said to my friends when they ask me, like, what is your intended audience? And I'm like, it's me. It's always me.
Absolutely. No, I'm the same way. We are our first audience. And if it's not enough to keep us interested, then it's really hard to ask that of a reader to hang out with you and these characters for so many hundreds of pages.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And speaking of hundreds of pages, you have a writing prompt for everyone here. So do you want to share it with us?
Is it time? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, keep continuing the theme of the side characters that we're talking about today. The first thing that came to my mind is a really famous quote by Kurt Vonnegut. And I'll quote it here. He said, "Make your characters want something right away, even if it's only a glass of water. Characters paralyzed by the meaninglessness of modern life still have to drink water from time to time." And I love that quote because I spend a lot of time thinking about what my characters, especially my protagonists, need and what is motivating them, what is pushing them through this story. But we can forget what the side characters also have motivations, also want things. So the prompt is to think about not just your protagonist, but your side characters and what is driving them in your story. And so for this next, I don't know, what are we doing? 10 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Right? This next 10-minute writing sprint, you can either choose to free write maybe some backstory or some internal monologue about your side character and what they want. Or if you are plowing ahead with your novel like I am doing, just try to approach the scene that you're in, thinking about the other characters that are populating this space and what is it that they are wanting. And that's your prompt.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And once again, you don't have to go with this prompt if you don't want to. You can just, plod along with whatever you're working on. We'll also drop the prompt in the chat for you, and I'm going to start the timer now.
Good luck, everybody.
So we're down to 5 minutes, everyone, right at the halfway mark. We have 1 minute left. Ten seconds left, everyone. And that's time. How did everyone do? What did everyone write about?
I continued on my NaNoWriMo novel.
I did as well. Sorry. I was like waiting for everyone in the chat to speak up. I was like, oh wait, no, that's me. They're talking to me. It's hard switching back from writing to this video thing. No, I did good. I feel really excited about this chapter. It's a really fun one.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel when you're doing these chats, are you like very aware of the facial expressions that you're making while you write?
Oh my God.
I try not to be. Because
Really?
I know I make really weird faces. So
there was a virtual write-in where Mariah, one of the program directors, had like a prompt where she was like, write with your eyes closed. And I was like, that sounds fun. So I did it. And everyone in the chat was like, why is Sandra asleep? I was like, no.
So the other people in the chat didn't do it? They weren't brave enough?
No, everyone else was just typing away in like the virtual write. And then there was me just like.
Oh, that's funny. How did it go? What did you think of writing with your eyes closed?
I misspelled everything.
Yeah, no, that would be my thing too. Or I would worry that like I would hit a wrong button and like a window would be up and I wouldn't be writing anything for that whole time. I would be so paranoid about it.
Exactly. I think what happened was I'm not terrible at touch typing, but I shifted over a little too much. So at some point it devolved into utter nonsense and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I don't type. I write by hand. So I couldn't do that prompt because then the words would have been everywhere.
All over the page.
Hey, Tana, that's your next challenge. Just for you. No, you don't have to do it actually.
That would be awful. For some reason, I always get challenged to do things. So like there was a write-in where I got challenged to write in second person and in like present tense. It came off sounding like a lot like a choose your own adventure novel, but
I love choose your own adventure novels. That is totally on my writing bucket list to write a choose your own adventure someday.
And it would be on my bucket list to read it.
Okay.
I would love to say that I would read it, but I remember my primary memory of Choose Your Own Adventure was me sticking my fingers in every single choice I had to make so that if I made something wrong, I could just go back.
Back up. No, I know it's a weird thing. It would be difficult to make a really good one and to make the readers feel like every pathway was somewhat satisfying in some way or another. And to like keep consistency. Like in this chapter, they learned this thing, but now you're 10 chapters later and you don't know if they've learned that thing or not because you don't know what path they took to get here. And it would be hard. It would be a huge challenge.
But
I still own some of my old Choose Your Own Adventure novels. Like the pages are all worn, like the covers are for me going and reading all of them, like not simultaneously, Sandra, but like reading it through once and then going back and doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people talking about Choose Your Own Adventure. Lindsay Werner says, the best Choose Your Own Adventure I've ever read was Goosebumps. I challenge you to beat it. You've been challenged.
Have to go read. I love R.L. Stein, so
Mm-hmm.
I love him. It's like one of my happiest writing memories was being at a book festival years ago, and a lot of book festivals at the end will have like an authors only shindig, like a happy hour sort of thing. And I was sitting at a table and R.L. Stein came and sat next to me, and I was just like, hi. So fangirly. It was amazing.
That sounds amazing.
I know, it was a moment.
I remember I was so proud a few years ago. I could firmly say I had read every single Goosebumps novel. And like that's not true anymore since he publishes 2 novels a month.
He's so prolific.
But I was so proud of myself to have been able to read every Goosebumps novel up until that point. Like I went on about it to my friends for months.
Yeah. I wonder how many there are now. I don't expect either of you to know the answer to that, but I would be really curious because it really is amazing how prolific he's been.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Catherine says 235 apparently. That's so
That
funny.
is nuts. It's so cool.
What is R.L. Stine like in person?
Hilarious. He had very kind of a dry sense of humor, but just like he was so funny and just instantly charming, and like I don't know, like he doesn't come off as like I'm a big deal. Like he just seemed so normal and like, hey, we're all at this author party, cool. I don't know. He was really great.
That is so reassuring to hear.
Yes, like it's my hero has not, turned out to be something unexpected.
I know, that's the worst, when there's somebody that you love and then you meet them and you're like, oh, you're like that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
He was not. R.L. Stine's a winner.
Yay!
I actually want to bring up a quick question that Megan Parsons said, which is, are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? Now, China and I are at complete odds. We fight a lot about this, fisticuffs really, where I'm a complete planner and China is full like seat of her pants, like sailing away in the wind.
Well, this year I'm typically a plantser, but I told myself that this year I wouldn't start writing until November, which is why I'm at my word count that I am, and it's just complete and utter nonsense. But that's okay.
That's okay. I am a planner, definitely a planner. In fact, so I came into this month, I spent most of October working on an outline for this book. But by November 1st, I still wasn't sure what the big climax was going to be, or like where it was going to take place, or how the characters were going to get there. And it was like anxiety inducing, even though I knew like that's easily 40, 50,000 words away from me. I don't need to be thinking that. I don't need to have that figured out yet. But to start writing on November 1st and to not know where it was going to end, I hated that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so those first few days, I would get my word count done and then immediately go back to outlining. Like, okay, but what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then I did, I think, finish the outline maybe like around the 7th or 8th. And it was, oh, okay, I have a plan. I know that it's going to be okay. We can proceed.
Yeah, that was like a little bit of planner and a little bit of plantsing energy.
Yes, so maybe. I do feel like having, again, with Nano being so great, like it gives you that deadline. Otherwise, I probably would have kept outlining for another 2 or 3 months. But you got to start on November 1st. You got to be ready. So it kind of pushes you into gear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have a couple more questions in the chat for you. Nora Heyman, I'm sorry if I butchered that, asks, what draws you to the worlds you create?
I mean, different things. There's a little bit of, well, it varies. With the Lunar Chronicles, the world itself was very idealized. And I love the thought of humans figuring it out. And like, I want to believe that there could come a time in which there aren't wars going on, and somehow all of the people on this planet have figured out how to get along and how to share resources and all of these things. I just really want to believe that we're going to get there eventually. And so writing the world in the Lunar Chronicles was very much me showing like, this is my idea of the future of an Earth that's figured it out. Heartless was based on, of course, Alice in Wonderland. And so for that book, I mean, just so much fun getting to write Wonderland. And I really just wanted to capture the same sort of vibe that Lewis Carroll gave us, with just lots of, nonsense and whimsy, and just tried to make it as kind of fun and fantastical as I could, which just made it such a pure joy to be in that world. With the Renegades trilogy, which is like so opposite from the Lunar Chronicles as far as like the world is like, they haven't figured anything out. Like they're in such bad shape in the Renegades trilogy. And so, but for that one, I think I just really wanted to explore more of a gritty, like big city, like very kind of Manhattan-esque, but as if Manhattan had gone through this, you know, horrible period of anarchy. And so I just really, I don't know, wanted to be in that world and to see how are people figuring this out? How are people surviving? I mean, almost apocalyptic in some ways. And so it was kind of a creative challenge, I think, for me in that way. So anyway, so I guess the answer is different things. Different worlds have different things that are appealing about them.
And I have to say that I feel like Manhattan is in a state of anarchy all the time. So.
Nailed it.
You're fine.
There's I have a question that I saw in the chat that's, I think, very related to our virtual write-in, which is, how do you make amazing characters and make the readers emotionally invested in them? And I wish I had like a banner that said Prince Kai, but that's really what I'm thinking about. Like, how did you make Prince Kai? How do you make these characters?
Just he's the only one that we care. How did you make Prince Kai? Gosh, I struggle with this question because it comes up a lot. Like, how do you make characters that people will fall in love with, et cetera, et cetera? And it is a question that writers get asked all the time. And I don't know. I wish I had a process. I wish I had a checklist that I could like give to you guys. But a lot of it comes down to, I think, for me, I don't do a lot of pre-planning with my characters. I figure out the plot and the major points of the story, and then I write it. And usually that first draft is very much me getting to know the characters and figuring out what sort of person is this? What is their personality like? What is their backstory? What kind of family did they come from? And are they wry and kind of snarky, maybe even a little mean? Or are they bubbly and chipper and happy-go-lucky? Or you know, are they really smart? Are they reserved? I mean, you know, who is this person and what do they want and what are they doing here and how are they going to respond to all of these different things that I'm throwing at them in the plot? And over the course of writing that first draft, the characters are constantly surprising me. I'm constantly learning things about them that I didn't know. And whenever that happens, it's like this little light bulb in the story, like, oh, this moment is important. And I didn't know that before, but now that I know, I can dig into that and find out, okay, well, what does that mean? How does that change this character? And so the first draft is very exploratory. And then after that, as I go into revisions, I'm just kind of trying to take those little things that I've learned about the character and trying to apply it now throughout the book and really take those weird, quirky, interesting things about them and really bring them to the surface and make them shine. And, you know, try to make your characters relatable, but I don't really think so much about them being relatable. I think more about just trying to make characters like larger than life. Like I want to write characters that people are just drawn to and that they want to follow and they want to find out what is going to happen to this person. And hopefully by the end, readers are just really connected to them and care about them. So that's, I guess, a process, sort of like a process.
Yeah, that's a great process. Just go for it, everyone.
Just write. What are you worrying about, guys?
Write a character you would want to read about or hang out with, you know?
Yeah. I do. I mean, I get very attached to my characters. So I guess that's part of it too, is it usually in the first draft, I'll admit I don't care too much about the characters. It's just like just trying to figure out the story. But somewhere along the line, whether that's the second or third or fourth draft, there does come a point in which I'm like, I really like these people. And then you get attached and you want them to find love. You want them to have happily ever after. You want them to save the day. And once I know that I start feeling that way, then you just hope that your readers will too.
So we're kind of running out of time. And I was wondering, Marissa, would you prefer to do a mini sprint, like a 3-minute sprint, or answer some more questions?
Oh, okay, well, I mean, totally would rather write for me personally, but this is about you guys. What do the people want? I'm happy either way.
Ooh, what do the people want? Because
Yes.
I know I'm super happy to continue talking, but this is a virtual write and not a
for
virtual
me,
talk.
I do Q&As. I answer questions all the time. Super happy to do it, but like also really love getting some writing done. So, but it's totally up to you guys.
So which do you?
Mini sprint sounds good, right? Oh, sorry, China. Yeah, we
You're
should,
fine.
we should let the people.
We can do a mini sprint. So for this little short sprint, you might not know Marissa, but I have been seen and portrayed as the bloodthirsty intern this fall because I like killing off my characters. The main
You're
character.
one of those.
So we are thinking about our side characters right now. So how about we take 3 minutes to write the ending scene of one of your side characters, like their last moments.
Doesn't mean you have to kill them, even though China's over here with like a chainsaw and a shovel.
She's ready to go.
Yes.
Just like what is the last moment your character has and your side character has in your main story?
That's a great prompt. I like that.
So this is going to be our little mini sprint, and I'm going to start the clock for 3 minutes, starting now.
Good luck, everybody.
Three, two, one. That was so short.
I know. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I just broke 1,000 words on this writing in, you guys.
Oh God, the discrepancy between professional writer and amateurs is really revealing itself.
Me writing those 20 words in that 3 minutes.
You're valid, China.
Very quick fingers.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, you must kill it like those word typing games.
Yeah, I don't think I'm very, like, I'm constantly messing up and having to go back and fix errors though. So yeah, fast, but not super accurate, I would say. That's what copy editors are for.
Right, exactly. Pass that labor on. But we should probably, unfortunately, close out our virtual write-in. Once again, thank you so much for coming out and joining us. Talking with you has made this such an interesting virtual write-in. Usually it's just me and China just riffing off each other and being incredibly silly. But it was it was so
that
great.
That sounds super fun too.
Yes, we usually talk utter nonsense for the entirety of the hour, but that's okay.
Could I give a quick plug? Is that okay?
Of course.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, just if people are interested, I am going to be doing another series of writing sprints this Sunday at 4:00 Pacific on Instagram Live. If you would like to join me for that, and I'm going to be joined also by my writing friend Lish McBride. So yeah, 4:00 on Sunday.
All right, everyone,
also,
put that on your calendars.
Yes. Also, be sure to be on the lookout for her new book, Instant Karma. Follow her on social media. She's awesome. I follow her on Instagram. So
thank you. Yes, Marissa Meyer author is my Instagram. Oh, and I have a podcast where I talk to other writers. So if you need some writing inspiration, it is called The Happy Writer.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We wanted to just thank you once again for, being a guest. It was awesome to have you. Like, this is great. It was super fun. I wish we could go for another hour.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to hang up and just keep writing, honestly. So.
Very. And everyone else, including me, should do the same. NaNoWriMo, 10 days left. We can all do this.
Oh, we can do it. We can do it. Go team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know I'm personally super excited to get around to reading Instant Karma. It's on my long list of books to read, but I'm going to get to it eventually.
I know. It's hard to get reading done during Nano, especially. But thank you. I hope that you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. China, do you have anything else that we need to plug?
Oh, I did want to, say that this is our last write-in, hosted by us interns during NaNoWriMo.
During NaNoWriMo.
So I'm kind of sad, but it's like, we'll see you on the other side. We have a surprise coming. So be on the lookout for that. And thank you all for coming. Make sure you keep updating your word count so you can earn your winner badges, because winning starts today. So good luck to everyone. And I hope that you all make your goals.
Yeah.
Good luck, happy everyone.
Holiday. Oh.
Happy writing.
Happy writing. Happy holidays to those celebrating. I hope everyone gets to spend some quality time with family and quality time writing. All right. Thank you again, Marissa.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.